Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the sixth grade concept of fractions, decimals, and percents. This is 6.4G Readiness Practice, the Proficient version. If you are interested in exploring the 6.4G Readiness Practice for the intermediate or advanced versions, or the Readiness Practice resource line with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So we have customer at a meal. Meal costs $35 and must leave a 15% tip. So first, let's express the tip as a decimal. Okay, so how do I change 15% as a decimal? Well, one way to think about it is when you have 15%, percent means per 100. That's cent, right? That means 100. So I could take my 15% and say 15 per 100. And I can look at it as a fraction, right? So that's going to help us with number 3, but also help us with number 1. Now we can simplify number 15 over 100. We'll do that in a moment because that's going to take care of number 3. If I could change this to a decimal, now I've got this in the hundredths place. So that's going to be 0.15 because that's my hundredths. You also could have just placed a decimal, if it doesn't exist already, after the ones place, and then moved it over once, twice, because that's how we get back to a decimal. So either one of those strategies would have worked. So 0.15. Calculate the amount of the tip in dollars. Well, it's 15% of 35. So since I already have it as a decimal, let's just multiply those two. I want to take 0.15 of 35. So that's going to be 5. 20, that's 15, that's 17. And then I've just got 35 right here. 5, 12, 525, but now I've got 2 digits upon the decimal in my factors, 2 digits upon the decimal there. So it is actually a $5.25 tip. Now, what we need to look at is that fraction. So we've already got a start on the fraction. It's 15 over 100, but we can simplify by dividing numerator and denominator by 5. So that's going to be 3 over 20. So we can put that right there, 3/20. All right, so those are my 3 answers. I will put a green box around them. Next, we've got Jaden walking dogs earning $20 and he saved 60% of his earnings. That's a lot to save. We need to first change it into a fraction and a decimal. So 60%. So let's do the decimal trick to get from a percent back to a decimal. Place the decimal after the ones place if a decimal doesn't already exist. Sometimes you'll get a decimal in a percent. Say 6.5%. So if the decimal already exists, then you'll start there. But if not, you place it after the ones place. You move it back twice. And so you're going to get 0.60, which means we can drop that 0. So we can just say 0.6 is going to be my decimal. Now, fraction, well, we can go back to that other trick of 60% means 60 over 100, or we've got this 6/10, right? So look, 60% is 60 over 100, or the decimal tells me it's 6/10. And you notice you just drop a 0 off of both because you're dividing by 10. So it's 6/10 either way. But let's go ahead and simplify. They're both even, so we can divide by 2s, and so we're going to get 3/5. So 3/5 is equal to 6/10 is equal to 60%. Now let's go ahead and calculate. How much money did he save? You could multiply 20 times 0.6, right? So if we want to do that, we could say it's going to be 1 digit on the decimal, so we can say $12. Another way to do that would be to multiply, since we've got a pretty good fraction to work with, 3/5, right? We can multiply the $20 times 3/5. Now when we do that, we reimagine the 20 as a fraction over 1, and we just go straight across, and it ends up being 60/5. You divide up, and guess what 50 into 12 make? 50 into 6, 5 into 60 makes? That's going to make 12. So you could do it either way, and you're going to get the same answer. So let's put some green boxes around this. And for our third problem, $15 an hour, works 40 hours. He wants to save 0.35 of his earnings. So we need to change it into a percent and a fraction. All right, so we've got a decimal. So when we change that from a decimal to a percent, right, we can think per 100, this is 35 hundredths. So that is going to equal 35%. Or we could just move the decimal over twice and we get 35%. So 35% is going to be the percent, and the fraction is 35 over 100, but we need to simplify. And so let's divide top and bottom by 5, and that's going to give me 7 over 20. So 7/20ths and 35% are my two answers. And then how much money is he going to save? First, I don't know how much money he made. I know he earned $15 an hour. He worked 40 hours. So I've got to multiply 15 times 40 to figure out how much money he actually made. So that's 0, 0, that's 20, and that's a 6. All right, so he made $600. Now I want to save 35% of that. So now I can multiply this by 35%, and that's going to get me the actual amount of money he saved, not just multiplying it by the 15. That would tell me how much he saved by 1 hour. So 0, 0, 30. Then I've got 0, 0, 18 to make sure everything is lined up correctly. So that's going to be 21. I've got 2 digits behind the decimal, so there we go. He earned $600, but he saved $210. So if you are interested in exploring the 6.4G Readiness Practice resource for the intermediate or advanced version, or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.